Hello, folks. We are back with part 6 of Fiddler vs. Nobody. Fiddler is piloting Babylon, and Nobody is piloting Persia. To catch you up, since what happened last time, Fiddler pushed forward and did capture this city. Persia is very close to getting their first cataphract archers out. They're 3 years away on this citadel and are building a lot of peltons everywhere. Unfortunately, haven't started citadel yet in this rider seat. Much stronger economy as well. So it should be pretty interesting here to see how this goes. Fiddler has a pretty significant tech lead still, although Persia has caught up. I think the longer this goes, the better for Persia, because Fiddler's economy is kind of lost at the moment. Like you can see here, Fiddler has negative gold, completely out of stockpiles for most resources, negative food. It's pretty rough. Where Nobody has everything in green except for, yeah, we can see we're minus 51 food a turn, only 16 iron a turn, only 50 wood a turn. We also do not have a citadel up in this city yet, and we just finished one here, but are weirdly not building our unique unit, probably because we don't have the stone to afford it, or the wood to afford it. Would love to see some chops to make that happen. Yeah, so hello. Hopefully let me know if the audio is working well. Good to see you again in the chat. EQCR 2177. And hopefully the players will get started here soon. We're 45 orders for Persia. That's the other thing. Pretty big order advantage for Persia has been the case all game. You can see pretty huge battle. Definitely Babylon got the better side of the trades and tactical misplays we talked about last time, for Persia dealing a bunch of damage to different units, not focus firing. So Persia definitely, Babylon got the better of Persia in that, with a pretty precipitous drop here. But I think Persia's economy is stronger, which means they're just going to be able to rebuild. You can see the order gap is real. Persia has more than twice the orders. And the science gap still in Babylon's favor. There's almost a 3,000 point science lead. So if Persia doesn't flop over dead, though, their stronger eco is going to really come into their favor here. We see much better food economy, much better iron economy, about par on the stone economy, and obviously Babylon has invested in the wood economy. Persia has not. Stat-wise, improvements controlled 113 to 85 for Persia, and then 494 worker turns. And 4 wonders as well. So the later this goes, Persia's actually only 15 points away from point victory. So although things will potentially change. So hopefully the players will get started here soon. Yeah, the economy advantage here is pretty big. Babylon hasn't done sort of some fundamentals. I think they really needed to make sure they got garrisons in all their cities. They do have some, but some placements. As Babylon, you really need to min-max all your placements. Make sure you get those barracks next to those garrisons for that extra order. Well, we do have a citadel here. I think we finally got one here as well. So yeah, we have citadel here and here. No citadel being built here. We're building a temple, which will help with orders as well. And we do have some rebel problems as well, from I think last turn as well. So, all right, Persia started here. Let's see what they do with their many orders. 3 turns here. Presumably we're going to see some cataphract archers pulled back. We are rallying troops, which we'd love to see because we're going to need that for the upgrade. But yeah, probably would love to pull some of these cata archers back, or these peltons, to make them cata archers. It's going to be 160 each, so 320 for 2, 760 for each. We do not have anywhere near enough training to upgrade all of them. And we're going to produce 3 more as well. So yeah, law setup wise, Persia's got 7 laws with epics, freedom, vassalage, serfdom, monotheism, legal code, and tolerance. And Babylon has exploration, freedom, centralization, constitution, serfdom, polytheism, divine rule, and orthodoxy. Notably, Persia could have gotten orthodoxy and arguably should have gotten orthodoxy given their insane order income, but they have never adopted a state religion, so could not have done that. Or, I mean, they could have adopted orthodoxy, but it would have done exactly nothing for them. Wonder-wise, Persia has Jerwan, Stupa, Necropolis, Apadana, and Babylon has pyramids. And there is a museum, unclaimed. Would love to see Persia or Babylon build it. I think Persia is probably much closer to building the museum. Yeah, they could almost afford it entirely if they sell some of their food stockpile. They can totally start that museum in their capital, although their capital is not a particularly great science city. I think their best science city is Shustar. I don't know, their best science city is their capital with 12, but 12 in your capital on turn 100 is not great. But they're doing pretty good wide science here. It is a pretty good land consolidation map as well, I feel like. There are a couple groves floating around here. And getting more stone here, so I can see Persia sort of starting to slam down some wonders. And of course, there is a Heliopolis on the board. There is an arid tile or two. There is an arid tile here, I guess. I don't see any others in the capital. But we are a long way from legendary, 25 years, so that's probably not going to be a factor. Museum, I think, would be a good pickup. Ishtar, I don't think is worth at this point because all our cities are already developing. Obviously, some nice growth, but we already have 13 citizens in our capital, so I don't know that we need Ishtar for growth. And the Mahavira, we don't really have that many urban specialists here, really, 2, so probably not worth building. But a museum would definitely be worth building. Maybe, I mean, not really. I mean, what is it, 50%? So, like, that would be, yeah, just not very good. 50% of 17. So, effectively, the museum would be like 8.5 science. It's probably not worth it. All right, free onager discovered in Babylon. Continue to deal with these rebels, but fortunately they've solved some of their aspects over there. They had their... Yeah, but look at this auto sale here. It's selling 74 wood. Their economy is starting to zero out here. This is really not good for them. The Queen Consort is a good candidate here. 40 family opinion and 6 science. That's probably a really great choice for Spy Master. Family opinion is actually really valuable on those Spy Masters, so always love to see that there. Yes, if he does go mass library, Mahavira is actually really good for them if they go library wide, so that would be nice to see. That's a great point. Lord Tolk. I presume that's Lord Tolkien from the Discord. Yeah, Babylon slowly settling in here. Got Guardians of the Bridge, which is a Zoro event that gets you potentially a pet or just becomes compassionate on your heir, I believe. Yep. And then, yeah, some other event that I didn't click to infest. And Mono, Manichaeism has been founded. Neither party has built the religious wonders, so that's 2 victory points floating here for both, 4 victory points for both players. Yeah, if Persia gets Ishtar, Maha, so 4 more wonders, that would put them at, and those 2 religious wonders, that would put them at 12. So, yeah, possible. We could have a point victory. There are a couple cities that are not too far away, 15, 11, 10 years, something like that. So the 3 developing cities. And obviously Ishtar will accelerate that. So there's a path to point victory for Persia. Build 4 wonders, build the 2 religious wonders, and you should get it. So the game is potentially over here in 15 years or so. Well, probably a little more because it's going to take some time for Persia to build all those wonders. But yeah, I don't think Persia is going to go for point victory. That's not my sense of what their plan looks like. I think they're going to go for the kill. Really do not like this assigning generals here, by the way, for Persia. The reason I don't like this is because they're already really short on training, and they have they have a citadel finishing in 3 years, so they're going to want to mass upgrade to cataphract archers. Yeah, Persia would like to hold, I think, but I don't think Persia has Persia doesn't have onagers, so it's going to be really challenging for them to hold against onagers when they don't have their own onagers. That said, the terrain is pretty turtly. It's going to be really hard for Babylon to break in here, but not impossible. But yeah, I mean, Babylon's best hope is probably attacking this way, because it's much easier to attack, I think, this way. Put some onagers here, you can easily take this city. It's going to be hard for Persia to defend that against onagers that are well defended, and it's just really, you can't, like, you're just not going to be able to get across. So we will see. Obviously, yeah. Biggest problem for Babylon right now is economy. They really need to fix their economy. They are having significant economy issues. Really not sure what's draining their money so badly. Upkeep, poly, and ortho. Have they actually finished building shrines? They still need one more shrine here, so hopefully we'll see a shrine being built in this city so that we can swap off of polytheism and onto monotheism, which will get us 6 more orders, which will be great. And also we'll get another order for that divine rule. And indeed, fortunately, we are not starting a shrine. We're starting a stronghold. Yeah, would have loved to see a shrine being started somewhere here. Stronghold isn't bad, but a shrine would be better, because then you could start the shrine and then immediately swap off this turn, or I guess in 2 turns when you get a little more civics. Yeah. It's like kind of a consolidation turn here. And we're getting that temple up as well. We do have an ambition for 4 temples. That will help. This is our 4th leader, who's already pretty old. He's just been ruling for 10 years. Let's see who else we got in the family tree. 10-year-old. Particularly great options. And yeah, this is pretty brutal with this pillaging here. Really need to kill these rebels. We're just going to unlimber an onager and go to town on the rebels. Yeah, I don't know. Chariot should be able to clean this up next turn. So, getting for the lumber mills, but yeah, they need to fix their food. They need to fix their money economy. Really confused why they're having such money issues. Of course, Persia has the Apadana. Persia does not have any money issues. Persia's economy is just so much stronger right now. But they're not really using all that. So worker-wise, we only have 10 workers in Persia. And I think we only have 7 workers in Babylon or so. So pretty light for both players on workers. Generally, I think by this point of the game, especially with all the orders Persia has, I would love to see, let's see, they have 7 cities, so I think at least 14 workers, perhaps even 17 or so, 2 per city, then 3 for each seat. Yeah, but I mean, they're doing a good job of keeping all their workers employed, but like, would really love to see that citadel get started here. We don't even have a worker. We have 1 rider worker, which is, I think, just not great. I think we had another one here that got killed. Right, did not protect our workers. Yep, so we did lose a worker over here. 2 workers actually, from the rider family. So yeah, it's been a wild game. Scientific. Yeah, the tactics there from Babylon. Tactics usually means I'm going to try to go kill you. So yeah, I don't know what I would get as Babylon tactics wise. Hero is probably the best choice for their very small high tech unit comp. So Hero probably would the best option. Commander could be useful, but they don't have that many units. They were kind of infantry heavy though, so the defense on Commander is pretty good as well. I have a hard time making use of the flanking bonus, but I think they are getting stirrups. Museum, Persia does have this ambition. Unfortunately, the museum I think takes more than 13 years to build, 14 years. So yeah, they're going to fail this legacy because they didn't start it in time, unless they really luck into a builder. Late game builder here can be really nice. Yeah, we do have an orator as well in Persia, so we should be trying to get these. We potentially, wow, we don't even have spoked wheel in Persia. But yeah, we definitely want to figure out how to, I mean, adopting a state religion, Judaism, would be good, and then convert, and then influencing that head, and then converting this family over to Judaism, and then you get orders from those states. Yeah, I don't know that you always need a military ruler to respond to a military ruler. Orator is particularly good because they're getting a lot of extra orders there. Judge is great for speedy upgrades. I mean, leaders. I mean, hero is the only one that I'm like late game. You definitely need to figure something. You like if your opponent has a hero and you don't, and they can launch offensive on you, that can be really, really powerful. It's not the end of the game because like you can kill the hero, you can just have more units. You don't flop over dead, but it is just such a force multiplier. It is 800 training though, so it's not cheap to maintain. So yeah, hello, hello. Good to see you, TDRPZ. Yeah. 2 years here, so probably would love to see some apprentice officers being built because for some reason we don't have any apprentice officers. That's the other thing Persia, I think, could be doing a better job next turn or next time is just making sure that they have apprentice officers and urban specialists. They really have not built very many urban specialists at all. In fact, they are going very, very rural specialist heavy here. And really, I think apart from a couple monks here and there, I wouldn't start a Pelton here, given that you're going to upgrade and you have a citadel in 2 years. So I would just start an apprentice officer to speed up your next thing, your cataphract archers. I don't know if Persia will even upgrade those cat archers though, so we'll find out here. Both players have made significant sort of misplays here and there. Babylon definitely stalled themselves out order economy-wise for a long time. Didn't get navigation, I think, until some absurdly late point. We can take a look here. Yeah, we got navigation and serfdom on turn 81, which is really, really, really late. And we didn't even adopt that family opinion. Yeah, I feel like the Spy Master we should have probably adopted. I don't think there's any laws we need to enact. So we got the civics for it. Also, assigning furs to the hunters was a good idea. We're pretty good on culture, but if you do have early luxuries, you want to assign them to cities that you want to get to culture, because each lux is two culture, or 3 if it's the type of the family. You can also assign any spare luxuries to the artisans, because it gives them plus 40 per luxury. So we could move the artisans up to basically plus 100 here, with plus 101 if we assigned all 3 of our luxuries to the artisans, instantly solving our artisan luxury problem in just a couple orders. So that's one of the nice things about artisans. They are very easy to influence by giving them luxuries. The bad thing about artisans is they're very upset if they have stuff pillaged. So you definitely want to repair pillaged artisan improvements as quickly as possible. Yeah, curious to see which family they'll go for here. Realistically, I would probably recommend sages on this city, just because there's 2 groves, which you're going to be improving. There's some ore, so you're going to get an ore specialist in there, right? So yeah, you're definitely going to get those groves once you get land consolidation. Where is land consolidation? And we do have land consolidation. Why have we not built? Okay, have we just not built groves at all? We have groves? I guess it's just that city. That's the improvements. Babylon. There is 1 grove built. Okay. I don't see any gardeners yet. Yeah, so yeah, we have the spices here. So yeah, this was the city. So I would go sages with the city. Persia. So Babylon actually got orthodoxy, which is making their money situation worse. And they still haven't started that shrine and swapped off polytheism. Persia got tolerance and has not enacted a state religion. So I don't know that scientific to your question whether they figured out how to use orthodoxy. I don't think so yet. So we will see how this goes here. This temple's being built in Babylon. We picked dualism. Dualism is not really getting us that much science. 6. Persia's actually getting more science, I think, from dualism. Yeah, Persia, I mean, it is the dualist religion, sorry. So Babylon actually could get revelation on their Zoro, and that would give them 1 order per temple, which would also help their order situation out quite a bit. All right, we're 1 year away here, but yeah, we definitely built a apprentice officer here instead of trying to do a 9-year Palton Cav build without a citadel. But yeah, no state religion yet in Persia. Obviously, would love to see adopting Judaism influencing the Jewish head. Although, yeah, sure. So, no, I don't think there's land consolidation yet in Persia, right? Yeah, Persia's really far behind in tech, 3,000 tech science difference. But yeah, they could get those 2 groves up. And I think there's some spices somewhere. Should be some spices mirrored somewhere. Silk, sorry, not spices, silk. Yeah, there's only 3 groves here. Camel archers would be particularly good for Babylon, although I don't think I see any camels on the map. So, and obviously Babylon doesn't have riders. So, yeah, I don't know that. I mean, this isn't a particularly great map for traders. You can definitely do traderless Babylon. You just have to be aware of the money situation. So these groves will actually help a little bit. The lavender will give you quite a bit of money. And if we did put a monastery next to this silk grove, so that's helping a little bit, although silk doesn't give money. So yeah, surround this lavender grove with some monasteries and you should be able to fix that pretty quickly. Also improve this gold, right? So there is some silver on the map as well that could be improved, right? There are solutions to the money problem. It's just Babylon has not gotten them. And worst case, you can build some treasuries, get some hamlets down. You just need to, money is a resource. You definitely don't want to be running a large deficit. I personally really love trying to get discipline on my ruler. Persia actually has corrupt, which is really, really bad. But fortunately, they have Apadana, which is helping cancel out that corrupt. But yeah, they're still running huge amounts of money. Yeah. All right, well, it looks like they do have their units here ready to upgrade, and they are rallying troops. So we will see some upgrades. Might be enough. Probably not going to be quite enough. What, 397 plus 270? Plus the 47 from next turn. That'll be 714. So yeah, that'll be almost enough to upgrade through four pelotons. So you'll be a little bit short, but that's fine. So we'll have 3 Kata archers next turn. But yeah, definitely don't agree with this long build. Would have just built a officer. Officers are really, really good. You have built the barracks, just build the officers. Curious to see whether we'll see the wide library and the Mahavihara making libraries even better. They do make libraries actually really good because it becomes wide science on the library and then also percentage science. And I think it's also important if you can figure out where to put your libraries next to adjacent resources. It can be a little tricky because they're urban, but there's actually quite a lot of science. Usually at least 1 resource, right? So that gives you at least 1 base science. So, all right, hopefully we'll see some improvements here. Or repairs. Okay, we have no money, so we can't get that. Compassionate isn't bad. Some resources aren't bad. Definitely, yeah, definitely don't want to piss off the artisans anymore, but I personally would probably take compassionate here. Oh my god, we're at -4 charisma, dear lord. How on earth are we -4 charisma? Greedy. It's -1. Yeah, I'm really confused how we got to -4. That's impressive. Yeah, and then curious to see which family we'll go to. This probably should not be an artisan's family. All right, we went sages. Yes, the reason it shouldn't be an artisan family is it's a frontline family, frontline city, so you don't want stuff that's pillageable on your front lines. But yeah, repair damage, and then get both these groves up, and get some specialists into the ore, the groves. Yeah, all those will be really good. And yeah, definitely need to build some farms because we are selling a lot of money, a lot of stuff to cover debts. We are building some mines, which is good, but yeah, need to build some farms as well. Let's take a look at what Babylon's workers are. We got a pasture, mine, lumber mill, mine, stronghold, mine, and then 3 more temples coming down, which will finish our ambition. And we are still running poly, which is a real shame. So maybe once we finish the stronghold, we will build a shrine here and then swap to monotheism. Like we've had so many cities, and also build a shrine here. Maybe they were waiting for this. Yeah, finish those shrines. Conveniently, I already have a Jewish monastery here. I don't know about Hamlet. Well, food is stone is pretty cheap as well, so could plop down some Hamlets. Do we have any Odeons to magnify? I don't think we have any Odeons anywhere. Yeah, so could definitely build some treasuries. Treasuries are not bad. 100 money right away. 3 years, 20 stone into 100 money. It's a decentish trade that pays off pretty quickly. And yeah, the city just has no income whatsoever. And we have 6 discipline on that leader. That's going to be, or no, we don't have 6 discipline. We have 6 discipline on the governor. Yeah, this leader, that would be a little better. Yeah, plop down some hamlets. We have a decent stone income. Just need to do something to patch this up. Farms and hamlets. Also, repair these. Repair the farm. That's some food that you can claw back pretty quickly. Yeah, I mean, eco-management is so important in Old World. You really need to pay attention to your economy. Ideally, you keep your economy running smoothly. You don't have to fix it. Sometimes it's easy to lose track of what's going on, or leader changes or something. I mean, also just thing to keep in mind, opinion. Remember, opinion directly impacts. So when a family is cautious, there's no extra maintenance. When they're pleased, there's a maintenance reduction. When they're friendly, there's a really big maintenance reduction, and of course, strength. People pay attention to the strength, but the money factor is pretty big. When a family's pissed off, it's -10, then -20, then -50% when they're angry. And that can really, really wreak havoc with your economy. Maintenance is a pretty big driver of money. You can see here, Uruk is profitable. Like Babylon is -77 for maintenance. Discontent also interesting. Yeah, discontent increases maintenance as well. Yes. So that is a confusing tooltip because it is I'm gonna feedback this, I think, because that is confusing. So all right, back over to Persia. Persia is in great shape, except for they just don't have forestry, but they can easily afford buying 14 wood a turn, and they can, of course, chop with their many, many orders. All right, we finished our citadel, and we do see some upgrades. Love to see this. We got our first cataphract archer. So, despite getting 7 laws 20 turns after Babylon? Oh my god, everything is in Russian, never mind. Something like that, some huge amount of time. Persia is actually the first to get an 8 strength unit on the board. Yeah, let me see. When did Persia get their 7th law? Turn 85 on citizenship. And if we flip over to Babylon, when did Babylon get their 7th law? I think turn 87 for doctrine. Yeah, Persia got it on 85, I want to say. Or no, they don't have, no, sorry, 97. Yeah, 97 for doctrine for Persia because they don't have sovereignty. And I want to say it was 90, no, it was 87 for Babylon. So 10 years faster on their 7th law, and Persia gets an 8 strength unit first, which is wild. Yeah, Babylon basically attacked right as they were getting their 7th law, didn't build a citadel for several turns, and then has yet to upgrade a unit, and they just started building a Cimmerian archer here. And I would love to see them march one guy back to upgrade it. I think they only have one Akkadian archer left, so but Yeah, so Persia actually is first to have a 8 strength unit, despite being 10 years behind on 7 laws. So I think, again, the longer this game goes, the more Persia's economy can kind of, like, they are printing units in a way that Babylon is just unable to afford to do. You can see they're zooming up pretty quickly here on the scale. Their slope is a little bit faster, a little bit steeper than Babylon's. They're getting some barracks. I think the biggest sort of suggestion for Persia is do not neglect urban specialists, especially officers. You've done a great job building barracks everywhere. Now put some officers there. And yeah, estates in your capital. I think you got it via, you built the estates, if I remember right. And we are starting an Ishtar Gate. Okay, so yeah, that's a wonder. Probably would have tried to grab museum personally, but I guess Ishtar, yeah, I mean, if it just feels like we're going, yeah, Ishtar is going to put that cultural victory. It's one of the 4. If you build basically these 4 remaining wonders, by the time you build them, you will have won the game. Because I think all these 3 cities are going to tick up, right? We've got 8 years, 12 years, and 14 years. It's obviously going to take more than 14 years, and obviously if you start the religious wonders as well, for your 2 religions, then yeah, you've got point victory whenever you do all those things. So civics, I think, is going to be the constraint, as well as probably their stone eco. And yeah, Babylon's still selling a lot of stuff. They are slowly fixing their economy a little bit here. Would love to see. They did assign. Oh, they assigned the luxuries to the hunters. I think I would have, if you have artisans and you have luxuries that don't correspond to any family, and you don't need them to boost up a city, I probably would have assigned them to the artisans. Just because they get so much benefit from it. That said, I understand what Babylon is thinking here, because they have a lot more units. You see, they have 24 hunter units. Really wish this separated military units versus non-military units, where they only really have 3. Actually, 1 military unit. So send in some more feedback. Split out unit and by mill and sieve in the family tooltip. Okay. Sending in all sorts of UX. What would Babylon need to push into katas here? Kata archers? Yeah, pikes. Pikes are really good. Pikes are, well, we can show off our fancy overlay. We have a cataphract archer, and we have a pikeman. So let me get off the text screen so that's not obscured as well. So cataphract does 8, is 8 strength, and does 6 damage to a pikeman, and the pikeman does 12 damage back. So yeah, cataphract archers are ranged, so they obviously do not do melee damage to the pikeman, but they take 12 back, so that's just a lot. So yeah, you need 4 cataphract archers to kill a pikeman and 2 pikemen to kill a cataphract archer. So yeah, cataphract archers would be great. Pikemen would be great, and pikemen, of course, couple really nicely with the Babylon UU. You can definitely go a very long way with the Babylon UU and some pikemen, and then maybe a chariot or 2 to rout, and some onagers behind for support, and some ballista to kill infantry. Like they've got a good unit comp. They've got a good unit comp here. Well, Babylon for some reason is going stirrups, and to get portcullis. I don't know why. I guess we do have some agents here. The agents are not getting us very much science. We have 1 more scout here that we could put in. So I guess we're getting some visibility, so that's good. Paradoxically, they do see the cataphract archer now. Okay, so they should notice that. Yep. This is also great, using this eye icon in the notifications. And they're getting stirrups. Not sure I would get stirrups into spears. You see there's quite a lot of spears for Persia. Actually, not that. Well, there are some spears. So big earthquake in Persia. That is a big old earthquake. Fortunately, it doesn't matter. Kind of awkwardly does interrupt some of these upgrades. Yeah, they can actually afford that. I don't know that they care. He's the fourth in line, but he is head of Persian paganism, so again, we could adopt a state religion, convert everyone to Judaism. We are continuing to rally troops here. So we are running legal code, which is actually getting us quite a lot of civics, 70, and the Apadana also gives 20, which is really nice. That's another thing I like about Zig. It gives you some civics as well. Adds up over the course of the game. Oh, we do already have the Temple of Solomon here, so I miscounted. So Persia is going to need four wonders or 3 more wonders, and then it's going to be 5 cities, right? Because they're missing 2 more points. They need to find 2 more points, so 17 years. But Parsa and Keturah will do it. So assuming they built the remaining developing and strong wonders, the 3 more wonders, and then assuming they built the Christian holy site, which they have not built. I don't think they have a Christian disciple. But they're running tolerance, so they can build it anywhere that they want. Yeah, Babylon has a long way to go. I think pikes is almost always a good idea. When facing anyone with a horse UU, getting spears and then getting pikes, you can basically make them very, very sad. And they have to, it's awkward to kill pikes. Obviously you have to use stuff like, not really sure what you kill pikes with. Ballista are not great. They work. Right, ballista do 8 damage to a pike, but take 10 damage back, which is not great. Swordsmen work really well, but obviously take even more science than pikes do. So now there's a really good response to pikes. Stirrups is a path on martial code, and cataphracts would also be really good for Babylon. The 10 strength unit. So we are running, we do have a pretty big science lead in Babylon. So Babylon continues to go upwards in science, 7,600 science. But they've just, I think, chosen interesting tech paths. To me, it's just insane that Persia has 2 8 strength units before Babylon does. Before Babylon even has 1. But I think that's just the power of the economy. Despite Persia being 10 years behind in getting their 7th law. So yeah, I expect Persia is actually going to attack here once they upgrade all these Paltons in production, which they have the economy to do. Although they really need more mines, because Paltons do take iron, and we do see them building mines, so that's great to see. But yeah, let's see here. Adopt a pagan religion, probably not what we want to do. We definitely need to get a shrine. We're almost done in that stronghold. Did we start a shrine here? We did not. We don't even have a worker over here. Probably would grab one of these workers and start these groves, especially the lavender, because that'll give you some money. And then, yeah. The temples will help. The Chaldeans, stirrups. Let's take a look at Babylon's tech tree, to see what's going on. Yeah, so infantry square, they've got a long way. Steel, battle line, and infantry square. Bodkin doesn't really feel worth it given their unique unit. And they are going stirrups, so I wonder whether they're going barding. But barding does require battle lines, so you're going to have to get battle line no matter what. And at that point, you might as well just get infantry square. Scholarship is also a choice. But yeah, they're going for stirrups here. So they're slowly fixing their food situation. They're getting a range down. Okay, that's good. We'll see whether they are building apprentice officers, so props to Babylon for doing that. Getting some more iron down. Would love to see some more farms down to fix some of this food problem. Also, another way they can fix their economy here is swapping to vassalage. Centralization is only giving them 4 science. Right now they have 150 science, so that's really not that much. So vassalage will save them a bit of training. 23 food, which is almost the entirety of their deficit, and help out a little bit on the other resources as well. Other things that would love to see swapped to, I question enacting orthodoxy here, given that you don't really have the orders for rushing. I do like orthodoxy, but I wouldn't enact it until I'm actually ready to rush, especially since you already had 7 laws. And then I would really love them to build shrines in their last 2 cities and swap from poly to mono so that they can get the sweet, sweet 7 orders from Zoro, and 2 more orders from the shrines in the cities there. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. So need some forts at Babylon, sees the cat archers in the frontline cities. I have not seen any reaction from Babylon. They are building Chimerian archers here, and they're building Chimerian archers here. Yeah, spearmen alone is just not going to really. I guess we could show some spearmen. So yeah, spearmen do 5 damage to cat archers and take 10 damage back. That's it's really, really not great. So I think Babylon's going to hold here. Would love to see, they are chopping this forest, so love to see that. It'll make it a little harder. Probably want to chop as much of this forest as possible. Yeah. So they also could use the wood. So we're starting a hamlet here. So we are eventually trying to fix our money issues, and a range here and another range here. That's good. Getting ranges up in your highest training production cities is always good because it's a percentage scaling on training. For some reason, we still have not started a citadel here, bizarrely. We have no barracks here either, despite this being a strong city that can produce RUU as well. Yeah. Yeah, just 10, we're up to 10 workers now, I guess. Yeah, 10 workers. Would love to see some shrines started here and a shrine started here, and then swap to mono, gets you some more orders as well. Yeah, but that's pretty painful. All right, Persia has gotten scholarship, and they have choice of forestry and compo. I would probably recommend forestry, get some lumber mills up, and then you can get compo later once you are not bleeding 12 wood a turn. And this is indeed scholarship. Probably also would love to see some libraries get started here. And we've got 1, 2 pelotons. Looks like we're moving our Kata archers to the front. So we got a glorious Kata archer there. And we're continuing to upgrade Kata archers as well. Really, really short on iron. Flatland mines. Wow, this mine is 8.5 because of a Delver governor. And Delver leader, our leader is actually, no. Our leader is a Delver, but then we have a separate Delver governor in here. Okay, good to know, double Delver. So yeah, Flatland with Delver governor and Delver leader is 8.5. So pretty good to see that there. Would love to see this Jewish monastery repaired as well. From the earthquake kind of sucked. Maybe the earthquake will finally pull our lone rider worker up. Yeah. Getting some walls up in Darband. I don't hate this, given that this is a frontline city that you expect someone to assault. So it's good to start the walls now. Fortified here, probably actually wouldn't have fortified on the urban. I would have built a fort on this hill and fortified there. The reason is your opponent has onagers, and onagers as siege units do extra damage to urban, so you actually do not want to stand on urban tiles against onagers. Forts are much, much better. Also, walls here, also don't hate that. Both these cities are going to be where Babylon is pushing, so these are good calls. To build walls there, and obviously you want to build walls before you need them. That said, I might be tempted to wait until my opponent makes some sort of movement. I'm floating a lot of civics, so I can easily rush this out for some civics. Just keep some civics in the bank, and if they make a move, then I'll rush out walls. Otherwise, the city's a productive thing, because that is a long time to tie up a production queue. And we're getting some more cat archers upgraded. I think that's takes our count to 3. No, just 2. Oh, this one moved back. Sorry, I thought that was another one there. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a really awkward place to attack into, and obviously supported by onagers, Babylon should win that engagement. I think Babylon's also, I think, played a little bit better tactically from what I've seen in the battles. So I think Persia's hope here, at least it seems like their game plan is, I'm just going to have more stuff. So it doesn't really matter how good his tactics are because I just have more stuff. And I've caught up to him in terms of quality of stuff. I have 8 strength units, and he actually does not yet have an 8th strength unit, right? We're getting Chimerian archers. He will. And we don't seem to be pulling this. Don't seem to be pulling this back to upgrade. So, and Persia has really been securing wonders. So I'll be right back 1 second. Back with the beverage. Yeah, so basically Persia is threatening point victory. Babylon is just too far behind in wonders. Like, you can't let your opponent build 5 weak and developing wonders when you only have 1. Especially when you're on the same city count. That's a huge advantage. So I think the issue for Babylon is they need to attack, because if we stay on the standoff, Persia just wins by default. Babylon is taking steel. Their choices were court scholar, cartography, and coinage. Coinage actually would not be bad, purely because it has money boost, and 4,000 money is actually really helpful in this situation for Babylon. But they mostly fix their economy. I just need to build a little bit more food. Unfortunately, I don't see them building any food right now. No farms yet. This worker has been chopping, and this worker just finished a range, and presumably going to start another range. Yep. So did they swap laws yet? Yes, they finally swapped to monotheism. Did they start a shrine before doing so? They did not. Much disappointment. So the trick is you actually want to make sure you have a shrine started or done in every city. But they at least swapped to monotheism, so that will give them 7 extra orders. But they could have gotten 2 more from Divine Rule had they just started a shrine in these 2 cities. And you can easily see which cities have your pagan religion, aka where you need a shrine, by checking like this. And there will actually be a hatch line if you're building a shrine there. So it's a really cool view to see where religion is, especially for something like paganism that you can easily build with shrines, or if you're trying to spread to get your religion in all your cities. Other things I'd love to see Babylon do is enact Revelation. It will give them an extra order per temple, and they, I think, have 4 temples, and presumably will build temples in the other cities. So that's another 3.5 orders that they can get from enacting Revelation. So yeah, they just need to fix their economy a little bit more, get some farms down. There's some pretty sweet tiles around here. Lush tiles that you can build farms on. We're building this granary, which will give us 18 food as well. So we can probably put some more farms next to that granary. Do not love this festival. Is this an autonomous city? No, do not be building festivals. Honestly, spit out a worker or 2 and get some barracks up and make this into a military production city. Yeah, I don't know why they got stirrups, honestly. That was an odd choice. And maybe, I mean, maybe they want to upgrade this to a horseman. Obviously, they don't have the resources for doing that now. But 5 strength to 6 strength is really not that big of an upgrade, so I only really see the point of going stirrups if you're going to go for cataphract. But cataphract with barding is a long way away. All right, we are continuing to upgrade our pelotons. Need to repair some of this stuff. Repair stuff over here. Really, honestly, like, I mean, as shitty as it is to build a worker on turn 106, I would probably build a worker. It bothers me we still don't have a citadel in this city. Uh-oh. Surprise attack. Okay, we didn't quite die. Holy War is a great law, but you need a strong economy to make use of Holy War. I really like pairing Holy War with Latin sales so that I can get Trade League, so that my economy turns into money, so I can basically everything becomes fungible. But yeah, it needs a strong economy, and it's actually really expensive to rush. The reference site conveniently does have a little rush calculator where you can go and see exactly how much it costs to rush things. So there's a hurry production calculator on the reference site. You can actually preview how much it costs to rush something. Top games to watch the tourney. I think someone asked this in the one of the threads. I forget exactly which one. I think my first game against a modern major general is definitely worth a watch. It was a pretty terrifying and well-executed attack that I barely held. I think Scion's game against Zoff is pretty interesting as well. He had a really nice stirrups timing rush. I've heard good things about the Zoff Skrbinski game with some back and forth. And then I think the Aaron versus Vovalet game was really good. Wonders-wise, yes, Persia has collected wonders and is building Ishtar. And presumably is going to build some more wonders at some point here as well. For upcoming games, I'm really looking forward to Boldus versus Vovalet. Unfortunately, it's at like 3 a.m. Pacific on Saturday, so I'll have to watch the recording because I'm not going to be getting up at 3 a.m. in the morning to watch it. But that should be an exciting, interesting game. All right. Heard the upgrade sound, and indeed we are upgrading Cataphract Archer there, and then we promoted a Slinger over here. So Persia, let's take a look here. Military score, as you can see, they're spiking up and continuing to spike up here faster. It is fun, and thank you all for being in chat. It is much more fun casting when watching. Babylon, of course, does have a governor, so they can, or scholar, so they can cycle. So they can actually beeline. They do have battle line marked. So curious whether they are actually going to go for barding here. Cataphract archers would be devastating. Persia would have significant issues with cataphract archers. Spearmen are not going to do shit against cataphract archers. So actually, this might be a really... Okay, there is battle line. They are going for battle line. Might just be for maceman upgrade, although they have no... Yeah, I don't know. But we haven't seen cataphracts in any tournament game yet. And man, I love cataphracts. They are one of my favorite units. Probably my favorite unit out of non-unique units. I love cataphracts. They are so much fun. 10 strength, circle, route, so good. So, hey Hazard, good to see you in the chat. Yeah, Persia just does not, they have a handful of spears, but everything else is just going to get eaten by cataphracts. Cataphract archers lose to cataphracts. Spearmen obviously get destroyed by cataphracts. Personally, I probably wouldn't go cataphracts. I would go infantry square, just because it's much cheaper science-wise, right? Like, so once we get battle line, which we need for both, cataphracts is martial code and barding, so that's 2,700 science, where infantry square is just 1,600, so it's a lot cheaper. And Babylon doesn't have the science to support. Cataphracts have fallen out of favor, largely because games have gotten faster. We used to play, remember, in the cloud games on tiny maps, which we're now playing on dual maps, so they're smaller. Maps are smaller. It's no longer like 12 to 12 city sites. It's 7 to 7, or even 15 city sites each sometimes. So there was just larger maps. Larger maps means, in some ways, faster tech. The tech tree has also increased in cost. It's harder to tech quickly. So just because unit techs cost more, we're seeing a lot of chopping here. Would really love to see these groves improved. They are really, really good, especially in a Sage's City. That's 6 science per grove. It's almost a 10% science increase. And I don't think we never got the spices. Instead of this woodcutter specialist, we should be building a gardener. Cancel woodcutter specialist, build gardener. So, yeah. Gardeners are really, really good. Gardeners are probably my favorite rural unit, and monks are my favorite urban unit. So, yeah. 26 orders. This is where you really want more workers. I guess also a fun thing here, if you hold this, you can actually see the unit. It's a little hard with the green here, but you can see the special buildings lit up a little more brightly. So we can see we could still build a temple here, and we could still build a temple here as well. Yeah, I definitely would have gotten the grove, but the barracks is justifiable as well. Elimination works. So right now we're in the Swiss phase of the tournament. This is round 2 in the New World, or the West Hemisphere, the Western Hemisphere bracket. We call it the New World and the Old World, in a nod to the game's title. So the Swiss means every player plays until they get 3 wins or 3 losses. If you get 3 wins, you advance to the knockout round, and if you get 3 losses, you do not advance to the knockout round. I don't know. The science lead is pretty big. It is over 3,000 science, almost 4,000 science. It is not evaporating. Babylon is definitely well ahead in science. So personally, I think the best, if I'm Babylon, what would I tech to right now? I would tech to mangonels, and I would tech to pikemen. Persia does not have an answer for mangonels because they actually do not have a melee horse unit. So they do not have a melee mounted unit, right? I guess they got, yeah, Palaton is ranged, so it doesn't do extra damage. And then mangonels are terrifying. And pikemen shut down their unique unit. So in this situation, I have my unique unit, I have my ranged unit, but realistically pikemen first, because my unique unit is basically a walking Mangonel, an Acadian archer with Eagle Eye, or a Cimmerian archer with Eagle Eye is effectively a walking Mangonel. It doesn't need setup time. So you might not even need Mangonels. Just get pikemen. And so we'll see whether Babylon does that. So Persia did get scholarship, but is not starting any library. Okay, we do see a library here. We do see a library here, cleverly next to the resource. So actually next to two resources. So really, really like this placement here. We see a library here next to a resource again. So love to see this. So they are going wide library, which does make me think they are going to go at Mahavihara. If I pronounce that right. We see a library here, not next to a resource. So the library is just the 1.4 from that, but it's going to grab some more tiles. And then we don't see a library here. We do see a repaired pasture. We finally got this guy back up here. We really, really, really want to see some freaking apprentice officers in this city and a citadel. Dear Lord, this city is almost legendary and does not have any urban officer, any urban specialists. And yeah, Persia, I think, just a little light on workers. Babylon 2. So a good rule of thumb for number of workers is take your non-improvement construction worker count. So you can see it here, right? So Persia has 62. This is before improvement construction, and Babylon has 54. So take that number. You can either take the number from the graph, or you can just take this plus anything that's a minus. So this would be like 64. And then divide that by 3. That should be your number of workers at that point of the game. Obviously, that's something like 21 workers, which is probably too much. So cap it at, I would say, 3 per seat, and then 2 for every other city. So that's the max number of workers you should have, something like that. So in this situation where we have 3 seats, that's 9, and then 4 other non-seat cities, that's 8, so 17 workers here. But early game, you can kind of eyeball it by saying workers divide, or orders, my total orders divided by 3. It's very easy to overbuild workers early. You don't really want workers standing around. You kind of wasted a production cube for that worker. That could have been a unit, and then you could build the worker later. Obviously, you want the worker built as soon as it can be put to use, but if it's just sitting there for 10 turns because you don't have orders to use it, it's not actually good. So that's my rule of thumb rule on workers. Orders divided by 3, and then up to a max of 2 per city and 3 per seat. Yeah, something like that makes sense. And I think possibly you can also toss in 3 more, unless you're traders. And if you're traders, I would probably build 1 or 2 extra from trader workers just for road building. And if you're not traders, I would probably drop 3 more workers just for spamming roads, doing the chain gang, as Scientific puts it, where you have 3 workers right after each other to build roads. So on a 7-city map, I wouldn't go more than 20 workers, but I would definitely have more than 11 at this point in the game. So yeah, but just don't overbuild the workers early. But workers really do let you snowball your economy. Partly why builder starts are incredibly explosive, because they get those workers online very quickly. You just need to make sure you don't choke your orders by workers. The rule of thumb can be really helpful for that. Even as a builder, where it's like, oh, I can spit out these workers so quickly. Isn't this great? It's great, but if they have to stand around and don't do anything, then yeah. So there's so many things to balance in this game. Orders, workers, resources, science, civics, all the yields, everything is just so fun. Why do we not see any farms? Do not love this from Babylon. We've had a couple turns where we're still bleeding food. We are almost done this range with this, but would love to see some more farms down for Babylon. And yeah, would love to see this. We actually at 600 wood, which is really good. We did some massive chopping. Would love to see this guy come down here and get upgraded, because this city has a citadel, right? Somewhere. Yeah, the onager's sitting on the citadel. But yeah, you can pull this unit back here and upgrade. I don't think we ever built a citadel here. Could also build a citadel here and just step at 1. But Yeah. All right, looks like Babylon is defending. This may be actually really good for Babylon because I suspect Persia is going to try attacking. But realistically, from this position, if I'm playing Persia, I don't need to attack. I just need to make sure you can't kill me, and then I win on wonders using my superior economy. Of course, Persia doesn't know Babylon has a superior. Babylon's economy is in not great shape, although Babylon is doing a decent job fixing it, but they're still selling 16 iron a turn to cover their debts, although iron prices are insanely high. Probably because Persia's been buying it for their unique unit and didn't build enough mines. So, yeah, Babylon can now spit out Cimmerian archers in 4 turns. So, we'd love to see a citadel started here as well. And a citadel here, they don't really have the stone for it. Farms, yeah, this is also why some more workers can help. We've got a lot of orders. We don't really have stuff we can do with these orders, right? We just have some Zoroastrian disciples standing around. One thing you can do with your Zoroastrian disciples is go chop scrub. Scrub gives you 10 wood a chop. Just clear cut the scrub. That's like, there's 100 wood. There's 120 wood. There's 120 wood in these 6 tiles here. So scrub outside borders. Scrub almost, like, technically it can go up into a tree, but it's like, I don't know, some tiny, astronomically tiny chance. It's not order efficient, but when you are full on orders, yeah. All right, so Babylon looks like they're kind of setting up a defensive position here. They're getting some spears out. If you want to be cute, you can consider colony buying and getting these into the hunter city. Another option would have been to make that a hunter city. Although sages, I think, was a better call if you freaking had gotten honey and lavender. As is, though, you potentially can swap to colonies and buy those tiles, but you don't have the money or really the civics. So we will see. Almost 20 of you in the chat watching the stream. Thank you for joining me this evening. It's kind of insane how many games we've already had in this tournament and how many more are on the way. I think it's going to be 150 something games in total. We're not even, I don't think we've even finished our first 50. So we've got a long way to go. Last year's tournament was something like 60 something games. So we are way bigger. Wow. Another attack. Apparently some schemer dude really hates his guts. Prince Artaxerxes the Younger just keeps trying to assassinate this guy, and this guy keeps succeeding and not getting assassinated. So whenever you see a schemer that is estranged like this, it's always good to toss an influence their way or something to try to fix their opinion. Yeah. Still no state religion in Persia, which definitely is a mistake at this point. Especially, actually really confused because, oh, you know what happened? They probably got the event that unsets their state religion. Because they do have theologies, and I think they just didn't realize. There must be some random thing that cancels the there is an event, I think, that cancels the state religion. They just didn't notice that. And thus because they must have had a state religion at some point. Yeah. I mean, if you want to really get cute, you could actually make Christianity your state religion because it's in 5 cities out of 7. Spread the rest 2, and then you have 2 more theology slots because you've already enacted your state religion, but probably not worth it. But that does mean that monotheism is being completely worthless because it is, yeah. And Persian paganism is not really spread, so, man. I presume they just didn't realize that they took an event that cleared their state religion. Because I was really confused about that. I think we've seen that in some other games. It was kind of an odd event. And, yeah. 49 orders to go here. They are influencing Prince Artaxerxes now. Probably a little late given he's already ill and age 66. And we're continuing to get more Paltons upgraded into Kata archers. Really just constrained by training. Officers will also help with that. We'd really love to see those officers being built, especially in a city like this where it's a 2-year build, right? Because we've got some pretty sweet... Necropolis is just so good. And we don't have a pagan religion there. Why is this city having so many civics? One elder monk. Yeah. Apprentice priest, which will actually get you some training off those temples because we do have a lot of citizens that are maybe this was the play, right? And we're doing an apprentice priest here, despite having estates in this city, which is -5 training. But a master priest will cancel out the estates because we have 13 citizens in this city, which is wild to me. We've not even run a hunt in this city. It's just 13 cities, 13 citizens. So many. So we built trappers and ranchers and like everything that scales food. Poets, so yeah. We'd love to see like a master poet or an elder poet so you can get the civics for that, but that's pretty amazing. Definitely some unconventional play here. Rarely see priests built, but here it totally makes sense. Like a master priest, an elder priest will be 14 training. That's in this city, which is just insane. Because it's each citizen is training. So yeah, the states doesn't matter. Yeah, Ishtar is in 7 years as well, which will get us even more growth in this city. What is our city's growth? 55. Ishtar is going to get us some more. So Ishtar is going to be another 6 growth. So that'll be like a, yeah. Yeah, you can do insane stuff if you get some trappers in there in a hunter seat, right? Because specialist, that's insane growth, and then you can do a civics pump off of that. That's definitely, especially now with trappers being cheaper, it's definitely something to keep in mind. Could do a massive civics pump growth seat with some poets. Persia could use volunteers, yeah. All right, Babylon's teching to this. Let's see, they've got the choice of hero or commander. I think the clear choice here is hero. It is just, if that is what you're pinning your hopes on. Shield bearer is also really nice, and they got commander. Okay. I'm sad. I was hoping for a hero and launch offensive because it's just so good, especially on a nation like Babylon that has Cimmerian archers. You have a stack of 7 Cimmerian archers with a hero inside of them. Oh man, each of those firing twice. Oh, he'll get 14 training once he finishes an elder priest, because priests scale training per citizen. So you can see this. If you add in an elder priest here, you'll get 13 training because there are 13 citizens here. Back to Babylon. We did finish that granary and we're building some more farms. So that'll be another 14 food or so, because we're scaling both these farms as well. So it looks like we'll just slowly patch that up here. And we're slowly getting more iron. We're continuing to chop the forest, but yeah, do not forget about chopping scrub. Scrub is well worth a chop. Sandstorm, very relevant. So remember the big earthquake in Persia? We have a sandstorm in Babylon that affects precisely nothing. Yeah, Commander isn't bad. It is a lot of XP. I just think at turn 108, if I have a choice of a hero commander, I would pick a hero, assuming I am going to maintain a decent training budget. And like even a single launch offensive can just be so transformative in a game. Yeah, I mean, taking the, how would I rank the tactics promotions at this point? I would say number 1 pick is hero. Number 2 is probably zealot, just because the fatigue is really good. Training, rushing is really good. Being able to rush units with training is incredible. So zealot would probably be number 2. Hero would definitely be number 1. Zealot number 2. Commander number 3. And then tactician a distant 4th. Tactician early game is probably number 1, just because stun is so incredibly strong in small battles. And launch offensive, you probably don't have the training and you don't have 7 units. Early game, zealot can be pretty good early game from Zoom Zoom. And Commander, unless you're doing really fun flanking tricks, which I think we saw in my first game, there was a Commander being well demonstrated there, and the joy of flanking, it is the absurd damage that does in a Commander, less powerful. And I mean, if also it's worth pointing out that if Babylon is thinking of going towards Cataphract, then Commander on a Cataphract and setting up flanking on that can be absolutely devastating. So I just don't think it's going to be easy to set up flanks because we've got some spears around here. Also, we don't have cataphracts. Yeah, I mean, the game, if Persia plays its cards right, the game should be over well before turn 125. So if I'm Persia, here's how I close out the game. I get as much stone construction online as I can. Stone, stone, stone. And then I build all the wonders. 3 more to go. And yeah, it looks like we got some libraries and amphitheater. Not really sure why we need an amphitheater in Shustar. I guess it'll speed up culture, but like realistically, you're winning off wonders, and yeah, you don't need the amphitheater in Shustar at this point. Temples, good for orders, but yeah, realistically, I'm not sure I would bother with temples as Persia. I would definitely quarry spam the hell out of these mountains. And quarry spam everywhere I can, because if I'm going for point victory, it does not look like Persia is going for point victory, though. They're just building a lot of wonders. So it should be an interesting game. I honestly do not know who's going to win. I'm going to avoid the boldest caster curse. If you asked me after the first session, I'd say, oh, Babylon's going to win easily. Their opening was just much better, just much solid ground, much better choices. I think their tactical play is also a little bit better. They're well ahead in science as well. So I think the problem for Babylon is, notice Persia lost this engagement. It was at 370 12 turns ago, and Babylon was at 710, and now Persia is almost caught up, and their economy is just so much stronger, and they have a huge order advantage. That said, in favor of Babylon, insane science advantage. The problem for Babylon is both now have both civilizations have 7 laws now, which means they both have their 8 strength UU. No one has their next another 8 strength unit or something. Persia is getting compo before forestry. Really do not love that. I generally strongly urge getting forestry before compo, just because ranges do take wood upkeep, and archers take wood upkeep. So if you want to build a range or an archer, you're going to want to have a lumber mill so you don't have to chop. So very sad we didn't get the museum. Apprentice philosopher here. Okay, we're just suddenly going wide in specialist, which is the correct play, especially since we are not running Constitution because we don't have sovereignty yet somehow in this game. This is wild to me. Compo is good though, but yeah, I probably would get forestry first just to get some lumber mills down. And we finally started a citadel in Anshan. That's amazing. And wow, we just hard built this Palton here. So things I would love to do while this citadel is building. Please build an officer here, and also repair your other barracks before it erodes, and then build an officer in it as well. No judge available. We do have a judge available, and we have a lot of money, so you could easily upgrade those guys up, or you could just put an eloquent 12 civics dude in here as well, and speed build some of those guys. We have 1,600 civics. Yeah. Yeah, Persia's 33 orders and nothing to do with them. This is where orthodoxy would be amazing as well for Persia, because they could just rush stuff. But they don't realize that they don't have a state religion. And yeah, swap back this, swap to orthodoxy, and then rush stuff. Ortho is so amazing, especially for someone like Persia. You could just rush an apprentice officer for 9 orders. Sure, it's 2 turns, but maybe not worth rushing a 2-turn thing. But anything long, these walls, absolutely rush 4 orders. Yes, please. These walls, all right, they're already done. Yeah, don't quite understand the apprentice monk for already strong. Yeah, so Persia does not seem to be going for point victory. Babylon seems to be settling up defensively here. I do wonder whether we're actually going to see them buy a lot of this into hunter territory. That would be really, really cool to see. Just kind of like just stack units on these hills and then buy the barley and right just yeah, it's pretty. I mean, I think if you don't notice that event and you're playing quickly and you don't realize that an event took away your state religion, it's very, very easy to miss. It's happened in a couple of games. All right, Persia or Babylon is slowly fixing their food economy, getting another granary. Love this kind of lush granary tile. I have no idea who's going to win. I'm really excited. I've casted most of the sessions of this game. Asteras, I think, was kind enough to cast part 3, but I've cast 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. Wetlander was also kind enough to join for some of the early sessions, co-cast, which was great. So I'm really excited. I followed this game pretty much from the start, and I really want to. I just do not know who is going to win, which is wild because like I usually have a pretty good sense. But this game has been relatively even. Like both these players won their first match, and they are facing off here. So yeah, I just do not know who's going to win. Well, the crazy thing I think, Lord Tolkien, is Persia actually enacted tolerance. So they opted against taking orthodoxy, and they took tolerance. So yeah, so they did not choose the order rushing option. Babylon getting agents in, so Babylon is starting to get some really good vision of what's going on. They can see what's going on here. They can obviously, one fun thing when you have agents is you can actually poke into a city and see what the city can build. This can help you get a sense of the opponent's tech level. So here we see they only can build warrior, which means they don't have an axeman, which means they don't have spears. They only can build slingers, which means they don't have combo yet. And they have their unique unit, but they don't have any other horse units, which means they don't have spoked wheel. You can see they're specialists, so we know they have priests, which means we can see the temples as well. We see apprentice scribe, we can see the law as well, right? But like looking at like what someone can build in their city with an agent can be really helpful to get a sense of their tech. Yes, Persia is floating a ton of orders. Babylon, love to see this. Yes, 2-turn worker. We are short on workers. We only have 11 workers right now. It does not hurt to get another worker down. We can turn this city into a military city. All right, we're seeing a rush. What was the rush with here? Presumably with civics, because I think our civics pool went down. So we are rushing Cimmerian Archer out here. Yeah, we do have apprentice officers. There, yes, orthodoxy is insanely strong. Precisely this reason. It is pretty useless when you're using up your orders, but when you get into standoff situations like this, where you're just kind of, pretty chill. And Babylon really should switch to vassalization at this point, especially when they've got units outside their borders. Basically fixes their food debt right now, and the science loss is just not a big deal. 4 science instead of 160 out of 160 is just not worth it. So, yes. Absolutely scientific. Persia just discovered combo. Free horse archer or sovereignty. Strongly would recommend sovereignty. Spoke to wheel in metaphysics, but sovereignty I think is the correct call here. That will also get us civics boost, although we really need to use some of the civics on something. And importantly, it will get us tyranny, I guess. I don't know what I would build. Probably tyranny, because like we don't really have that many urban specialists. We are building some now. But 20% training everywhere and extra barracks, basically. Constitution is probably the better choice, especially since you can do double decree. But yeah, we're continuing to build specialists here. Palton cab. We can upgrade. Got a couple more Paltons to upgrade. Let's see here, right? We got 4 more Paltons. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, apprentice officers. It's mind-boggling to me that Persia has not built a single apprentice officer. Let's check if that's true. In the stats specialists screen here. Yeah, no apprentice officers versus 7 for Babylon. Ideally, realistically, all apprentice officers are really good specialists. You should have 2 of them in every city. Metaphysics. Okay, over sovereignty. I do not understand that choice. Yeah, I don't know. I do not know why you would go metaphysics. We're not on a water map. You don't have a state religion, so you can't convert people to it. Yeah, I don't know why we're going metaphysics instead of sovereignty. That is a mystery to me. $45 orders for Persia. Getting an academy up, so they are picking up their science. They're up to 136, but so that Babylon is still at 163. And I think importantly, Babylon just has a really, really big lead of 3,500 science. So even if Persia doubles Babylon science, it's going to take them a long time to catch up to that lead. For champion seats, I don't know that I'd go to 4. I think Frederick taught me this of doing something like 2 elders and then 2 apprentice. So an apprentice gets you doesn't show the XP thing somewhere. So apprentice, where does it show? Okay, yeah, apprentice doesn't give any XP, but 2 elders give 50 XP for new units, and 2 elders would be 50 plus times 2, which is 100 XP. So you get 2 elders to get the 100 XP, a free upgrade basically, and then you build 2 apprentice officers for some extra training. The marginal training to go up to 2 extra training just probably isn't worth your time. You're better off building units. So yeah, I'll try to, in my military production city, I will try to get up to 2 elders and then 2 apprentice, and everywhere else, yeah, I'll just build apprentice warriors or apprentice officers, and then also probably once I get ranges, depending how I'm getting ranges, I will either rush them up to elder for the ranged ones or just keep them at apprentice. Or just not bother, because sometimes I need units before I don't need tempo. So we're upgrading to some archers, which slingers to archers, not terrible. We have lots of resources, so I guess why not? Yeah, apprentice priest here with all the citizens we're floating. And the challenge, I think, is you don't really get the training benefit until master and really get it at elder. And elder is just a long way. That's a lot of civics to get to. So without a judge, it's just going to take forever. And you're probably better off just building units. So, especially if you had some apprentice officers. All right, we got some Chimeran archers coming out here. Power-wise, we see Persia is still primitive. Science production, pretty big lead. Military production, Persia is really caught up after losing. Really curious to see what Babylon is thinking here. I don't really love these units in the middle of nowhere without... oh, they did swap to vassalage, so props to Babylon. They did swap to vassalage, so at least you're not paying extra upkeep for these. They are kind of outside of borders, though. Don't really have the money to buy stuff, but it would be really cool to, I don't know, buy here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would actually just be obnoxious and get hunters to here. So, yeah, so that would be funny to me. And tile buying costs are a little cheaper now, so that would be worth buying. And then just swap back. Judges are nice for that easy swap. Oh, and yeah, maybe Babylon is gonna do that. Are they going to go through the gap? So both players have kind of fortified these. No one has paid attention to that. There's a single tile land bridge by Lake Benakis, where you can just walk right in. Get a road here, You can just walk right in and be like, oh, nice fortifications there. Too bad I'm behind them now. So yeah, if Babylon had traders, which they don't because they don't have traders on this map, which makes perfect sense given that it's so. But yeah, three worker gang, chain gang here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hello, we're in your back lines. Yeah, this is another reason I would love to see Babylon get pikes. Look at how heavy some of this forested terrain is. That's going to be really shitty for their units to fight into. Yeah, I'd love to see people going through the single tile connection. It'd be amazing. You can also be really obnoxious and extend this city's borders here with some strategic tile buying. Fun things you can do. You can put a scout with exploration and use it to buy. So let's see. Let's just math this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And suddenly you have a waterway connection here directly into your opponent's rear. Like they are not set up to defend on this position, right? Like, so all sorts of fun tactical potential on this map. Will we see any of it? Who knows? I am honestly not sure what is going to happen in this game. I do not know. Babylon is getting battle line. I presume after battle line, they are going to get. They might. So these three are going to discard. Battle line is going to unlock free court soldier, free longbowman, infantry square. So we get 3 more into the discard pile, adding 3, so that's 8. We'll have 1 in the draw pile, and then 3 out of 8 to get infantry square. Can probably cycle with drama and then get infantry square pretty quickly. So, and then I think if I'm Babylon, I push once I have infantry square, because I have Cimmerian archers, I have pikemen, I have the odd upgradable to a horseman if desired, chariot, and then I just push with that. Because so there's kind of fundamental timing attacks in the game. The first obvious one is there's a 5 strength timing attack, right? You have axes, your opponent has warriors. Axes do 8 damage to a warrior. Warriors do 4 damage back. If I beat you up with axes or spears or archers, and you only have 4 strength units or chariots, right, you're going to have a bad time. That's the earliest timing attack. It can be hard to pull off on larger maps because your opponent will probably be ready for it in some way. The next one is the 4 law timing attack. I have my 6 strength UU. You do not have an answer for that, so I attack with that. Then probably there's another timing attack, I guess around 7 laws. Now I have my 8 strength UU. You don't have a timing attack for that. You don't have an answer for that. And then the next one I would say is probably somewhere around my 2nd 8 strength unit. So I have my 8 strength unique unit, and then I have another 8 strength non-unique unit that does something to counter what you might have. So like a pikeman is really good to counter for Babylon. For Persia, it's going to be a little harder because Babylon, Persia, like Babylon's forces right now are spears, so ballista, some ballista as well. You don't have a melee mounted unit. They have onagers as well, so you might actually want. So if Persia's had a mounted unique unit, that would. What is going on here? Why do we have a Jewish disciple visiting Susa? Yes, food costs 11 gold for Persia and for Babylon, 15 gold for iron, and surprisingly, wood is not that expensive. I am very confused why there is a Jewish disciple in the middle of Susa and how they got there. I just did not notice the move. I don't think they moved this turn. I am really confused where that came from. Robust governor. Righteous is also good. Delver is actually really nice on this city, given that we were trying to push a lot of stone. You could buy food, yeah, as Persia. I mean, they have a lot of foods. I don't know that I would buy food at 11 gold a turn. Like, you're not going to buy that much food. You're not going to drive the price up that much. Babylon has pretty much driven the price up themselves. Crossbows are 6 strength now. I don't know that crossbows... I mean, again, the unit comp, I think, is pretty clear for Babylon. Pikemen. Pikemen and the unique unit and a routing unit, which they have a chariot or 2, should be good. Okay, they're finally improving this grove. Getting some barracks up here. Getting some mines. I don't love this miner. I would not be improving this miner. I would be improving the ore miner. for training. I don't really love the miners for money. I don't think it's worth it. For Persia, Persia, I don't. Yeah, I don't know what Persia's plan is right now. Right, obviously attacking into this force is not going to end well for Persia. At the same time, like they're not really set up defensively to defend. It's going to be hard for Babylon to attack any of these chokes, though. So, you know, if I were Babylon, I probably would have put a pikeman here, a pikeman here, and then 3 or 4 onagers, and just bash down Tuss and been like, "What are you going to do? You're just not going to be able to reach me. You don't have onagers." So, yeah. Oh, Artaxerxes the New. We have. So he finally succeeded. This was the we got the adopt state religion event, and we did adopt Judaism again. So it is our state religion again, and so this schemer, I think, stabbed the previous ruler. Yeah, severely ill. Actually, no, he died of severely ill. He was the uncle, and he was also next in line. This is a really awkward inheritance for Persia because he is 69, so he's not going to live very long. I would have loved to see a designate heir option, even to like this 40-year-old schemer. Let's see who else. Or you know what, this 22-year-old hero, that would have been a great option. Having a hero late game, always good. Or you could have done another orator. Also an option. So yeah, I don't think I would have gone for the 71-year-old judge. So yeah, having a 61-year-old or 69-year-old inherit is going to be challenging. Persia did not. Yeah. Oh no, that's why they switched their succession law at some point to lateral. So that's really bad. Lateral's really, really bad. Just because it means siblings inherit before children. So that's going to be it's going to take a long time. So the schemer can adopt, but we're on lateral succession, so siblings inherit before children. So, yeah, although I guess, yeah. All right. Are we going to go for infantry square? Is Babylon going to push the infantry square button and then push in 10 years? What is Babylon going to do here? They are a scholar, so yeah, they basically had infantry, and there it is, infantry square, ladies and gentlemen. 10 years from now, Babylon has pikemen. So Persia now may not know it. Wow, this Jewish disciple is just walking around. No one's even attacking it. How nice. Yeah, legitimacy is going to be really rough for Persia. Lateral succession is really bad. Ultimogeniture is actually not bad, as long as you keep track of who is the youngest kid. I do wonder whether it's actually worth swapping to Ultimo at some point. It does cost 400 to swap for some reason. I thought it was 200. Did they change it? I swear I thought it was 200. Maybe it changed to 400. Not sure. Or maybe it's changed already. I'm not sure why it's 400 though. That unless they swapped back and forth. I don't know. Yeah, it might be interesting to explore Ultimogeniture in a game, just because the youngest succession, that gives you very, very long rules. It's just a little awkward to like keep track of who's the youngest, and that does get you regencies. Yes, the Jewish disciple did get killed by a Cimmerian archer, which will actually hurt the Jewish opinion over in Persia. So if we toggle back over here on Persia, we see that failed to protect our units, minus 40 opinion for 20 years. So it actually took 2 of these families out of friendly into pleased, which actually increased the maintenance cost quite significantly. And wow, Oligarch Cyrus is pissed. Or the Achaemenids are pissed. Yeah, they really hate not having any counselors. Judge Schemer, fewest cities, which, I mean, why would statesmen ever have fewest cities? Yeah. No, I don't mean Ultimo in this particular situation. I just mean in general, it might be interesting to play around with Ultimo to see. I usually just designate heir, but yeah. Yeah, I really have not played much with the succession laws, and yeah, Duke Agam is not the best choice. Primo is nice because you at least know who the heir is going to be, and it's relatively legible. Someone having a child late doesn't suddenly create an heir that you're like, oh, a 2-year-old baby is the heir. But it would be a fun game to try, just to see how Ultimo works. Because people do not, surprisingly, do not get pissed off if you change succession laws. So it can be a clever way to choose the younger child without choosing the younger child. But designate heir is usually, Primo with designate heir is usually enough for me. All right, I do not love this random minor on this, I guess because we're getting more tiles, but like, I really, really do not like rural specialists without improvements in non-landowner cities or as non-Tamil. I think it's defensible to landowner, it's defensible as Tamil because of their Chera supremacy that gives them training for every rural specialist. But yeah, surprised we never built a citadel here. We're getting spearmen, so curious to see whether we'll get some tile buying. But we are going to get some pikemen up here, and we might actually see a slow push here from Babylon. Although this still feels pretty defensive. They are kind of watching the gap now, so no way in. I wonder whether they will go in. I don't know, I've played enough Crusader Kings that I feel like I now have an encyclopedic knowledge of all the various succession law options. All right. So Persia has researched metaphysics and now has forestry as an option, which I would strongly urge them to take, to just not be paying money each turn for wood. They did lose their disciple. 70-year-old leader. I mean, if he marries a younger woman, he could still have kids. But yeah, lateral is really bad. Let's see, how much does it cost to change? 500 civics. So yeah, it may, I don't know, but I like that you can preview who would become the heir. Primo is Duchess. Lateral is, he would be his own, like that. Okay, that's the new heir. Okay, yeah, 72-year-old. So even if this scheme are adopted, he would displace this daughter in succession, presumably, but not displace his brother. Sorry, his cousin. So, and we're not going to build the museum, so this legitimacy is going to actually be an issue for Persia. You can see it's starting to dive, and it's probably going to dive further down. All right, we are getting forestry in Persia, getting some archives. I guess that's what we wanted metaphysics for. Interesting. Don't hate Archive 1. I mean, that's very justifiable to get some wide science. We're going all in on wide science. So Libraries are getting done. The science graph is fixing itself quite a bit. Persia is catching up. Like we went from about 10 turns ago, 86, and we're now at 151. So they're good, but they're still behind Babylon. Don't know about these forums, but okay. Mostly just because, like, if I have 13 citizens, I don't feel like I should be building forums. But that's just me. Family opinion, we have issues with our friends, the statesmen. We don't have a chancellor, so we can't bribe them with money. We are indulging in revelry because we are stressed, presumably from taking over the crown. But yeah, we have real issues here, and we don't. Statesmen get really pissed off for not having an ambassador, or not having a counselor from their family. And Persian pagan is also, they're also Persian pagan. So you could, well, yeah, everyone's really old. It's a gerontocracy in Persia. So yeah, this is an interesting position. I'm not sure how this game is going to go. Again, the longer it goes, Persia eventually wins on points, just because they have such an enormous lead on wonders, and Babylon has apparently forgotten wonders exist. However, Persia doesn't really have a stone income for wonders, and like if you're going for a point victory, you would ideally have built a lot more quarries early, because you know you're going to need stuff for... They're continuing to chop, so maybe they don't need... I mean, it's good for them to get forestry, but like they have a lot to chop, and I love using these disciples to chop. Maybe that's what the disciple is doing over there? I'm not sure. So, yeah. We are very training constrained. We are still have a couple more Peltons to upgrade. I guess one more Pelton left to upgrade. Yeah, just one last Pelton. The last Pelton. And we are starting to get to critical mass of Cataphract archers. So there may be a window. Like I'd say 5, 6, 7 is starting to be critical mass. Although it's like attacking into spears is pretty hard. But yeah, I mean you could go attack down here. Katas will do stuff with, like, pretty sure 2 katas will kill this slinger. Yeah, pretty easily. Flanking even faster. Could come down and like take this city pretty quickly before Babylon would really be able to react. Babylon does not have roads to this city. You can stage this katas here and go zoom, and they can route, so they can clear through that. So Nippur is pretty vulnerable. All right, infantry square in 9 years. All right, so what is Babylon going to do here? Okay, we're starting some road building. So I really do wonder whether Babylon is going to go through the Lake Benakis gap. This is actually really tough terrain to attack into, right? Because if you have spears positioned here or later pikemen and 4 or 5 onagers here, and then if you clear cut this forest, it's going to be really hard for Persia to attack into that. And then you can kind of slow push. Although the fact that all this forest is unchopped is actually to Babylon's advantage, or to Persia's advantage, that they seem to be chopping it. So yeah, it definitely looks like they're sort of moving the thrust of their force this way, though. Persia is rushed out a worker with civics. That is a choice. I don't know that I would do that. But maybe they feel they really, really urgently need a worker right now. Very confused. All right, back to Persia. They do see this. Character died, our wife died. We could get jurisprudence. Land consolidation is not terrible because we're getting the free ballista. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they have almost caught up in science. But yeah, I mean, land consolidation is a little tempting with the 3 Groves sites, but that was only 3. But Babylon doesn't really have any mounted units, so I don't need camel archers, and elephants could be handy. Obviously, I have a rider city, so I can import elephants. I don't think there are too many on the map. So let's see, do I agree with this choice? I think so. Yeah, I mean, it really needs to cycle to sovereignty. So jurisprudence is too expensive. Architecture is going to be too slow. He does have an ambition for elites that he took, so that is a choice. Storing orders would be good for the Alpha Strike, but I don't feel like, we're in a great spot to do that right now. All right, we upgraded an archer, but we still have a Palton. We still have a Palton that could have been upgraded, but we now can't afford to upgrade it because we upgraded the archer. So I think I would have upgraded the Palton into a Kata first. And we are going to finish that citadel here, and then bizarrely we are not building. Oh my god, 15-year Cataphract archer. What happened? Why? Furious family. Oh right, because these guys hate our guts. We haven't fixed our family opinion issues, and we're actually down to minus 320. So I'm shocked we haven't gotten rebels. Ballista's fine. Obviously, you're going to need a lot more ballista to deal with Persia, or to deal with Babylon. Turn 113. I don't know that we're going to finish this session, realistically. Both players are kind of not attacking, and I guess Babylon is doing a very, very slow push, but I would be shocked. Well, I mean, Babylon attacked with right at getting 7 laws before upgrading anything to a 7 law. They finally did upgrade their Akkadian to a Cimmerian. He has not converted anyone. He did take meta. I think meta was taken for the archives because I do see him going very wide on the archives. Um, yeah, Persia. Persia is going to be in deep trouble once Babylon has pikemen. Because ballista, really, a single ballista ain't going to do much against pikemen. Realistically, against pikemen, you need, you ideally want spears. So let's see here. What do we do with pikemen? Swordsmen? Sorry, not spears. We ideally want swordsmen. Swordsmen deal 9, take 4. Crossbowmen are actually decent because they deal 7 and take 5. Pre-nerf crossbowmen were really, really good. Now they're okay. And then legionaries, obviously not a choice for Persia. So swordsmen or crossbows. Ballista are deal 8 damage but take 10. So yeah, it's a real problem. Swordsmen, yeah, I mean, Babylon is going to get to swordsmen before Persia gets to swordsmen. So swordsmen are not a choice for Persia. Realistically, their only available choice is I mean, they don't have an answer right now. Their three choices are swordsman, ballista, and crossbowman, and they do not have tech for any of those right now, and it's not nearby anyway. So poly actually are not that effective against pikemen because poly is now 8 strength. So, but we will see what Babylon does here. They are slowly fixing their economy. They have hit legendary first, and there's actually no arid tile. Not that we can afford the Heliopolis. Not that I would build the Heliopolis here. Yeah, we can't afford any of these. But Hagia Sophia actually would be really interesting to grab just because the happiness level is actually huge if the game goes long. But yeah, I don't know. Pantheon, also an option. Heliopolis, we don't have that many shrines. We're not going to build the shrines. Yeah, we just don't have the stone for any of this. I am shocked Babylon has not taken museum. They had 600 stone at one point, or 600 wood at one point. So I'm shocked they've just left museum on the board. And they definitely were strong first. Yeah. So yeah, not really sure what Babylon's doing. They do have ortho. We could be seeing some ortho rushing. Well, we have ortho rushed a couple times, so that's good to see. They are using their extra orders because their units are pretty static at this point. So love to see that. Ortho is very good to rush. So yeah, it looks like they've rushed. Let's see. 1 time here, 2 times here. Yeah, it looks like just 2 ortho rushes, but that's pretty good. Yeah, they need to fix their economy. They actually need more wood. 33 a turn is not great. And they need to fix their food situation. And they need to fix their money situation. And I think they're okay on iron. And iron is actually fueling their economy because Persia's driven up the price of iron to 15 gold. Because it was the thing that Persia didn't really have very much of. Here's to see, we'll see some ortho rushing here because we're pretty much done with all our worker moves. Could maybe chop with this disciple. Haven't really seen much disciple chopping from Babylon, so can definitely go chop here and get some of this. We have chopped almost all of this, although again, it is very much worth chopping scrub when you're in an order situation like this. Scrub is free wood. I think I played a game on wetlands where just the complete scarcity of wood taught me the value of scrubs. And we're continuing to kind of crawl forward here, which is really order intensive. But it does look like we're going to try to go through this gap. This is going to be interesting. I don't love this timing. I would wait for infantry square to make these pikes, these spears pikes. Yeah, there was only a recent change where you can chop with disciples, but it is it's a good one, I think. It gives them something to do. Before I would just park them in monasteries and get that extra 1 science and not think about it. So, or park them on cathedrals for the, I think it's orders on cathedral. Not that I build cathedrals very often. Yep, it is orders on cathedral. All right, kind of continue to poke forward here. Persia has vision of it, I think. Or no, they had at some point. All right, we just got forestry, I think, right? No, free ballista. And then sovereignty is the next choice here, which probably should get sovereignty. Really bothers me they don't have orthodoxy, but maybe they're not rushing right now. But for example, things they could do with ortho, they could press the cataphract archer button and then rush it out with orders. And then boom, another cataphract archer. And you can do that just to rush out huge amounts of troops. Military score, yeah. Ambassador, I would probably take the religious opinion here. None of the religions are plus 200, and that's more than a plus 5 from family opinion. But man, how have we not had any rebels? 10% rebel probability. And somehow the statesmen, despite being beyond furious, have just not rebelled. Really unclear why they're so pissed off. Because their head is minus 30 and their religion is minus 30, right? So, and discontent. Some law, some events. Unmarried leader, that's easy to fix. No counselors, that's easy to fix. For some reason, they hate freedom. They don't have any wine and pearls. I don't think there are any on the map. They have a lot of citizens, but I mean, discontent is really the big one. What is this? 5 discontent here and 5 discontent here. So, yeah, we haven't influenced this guy and we haven't influenced this guy, but like, yeah, that's just a lot. It'd be good to swap them over to Judaism, but we haven't influenced this guy and we aren't running any conversions. Instead, we're rallying troops. So, it is a very swinging game so far. Wow, these are, what is this? Walls and a moat. We built a moat in this city. Okay, well that's going to be a tough nut to crack. No moat here, just walls, I think. Yeah. Yeah, the leader, it's good to sort of try to flip your leader around across the families, but I mean the riders at minus 96 without a leader, right? So they're also pretty unhappy, but like the religion opinion is a big swing. Yeah, and I guess they have these two. It's always hard when. Okay, so Persia has inadvertently chopped here and cleared the field for Babylon to basically be able to set up some beautiful onagers here and be in a really, really awkward, like 1, 2, 3 pikemen here, 4 onagers here. It's going to be really hard for Persia to deal with that. And an onager here can, I mean, they can also just keep poking forward, right? Although I don't really love driving through here. I feel like if you're going to attack, you should just attack here, right? You put 2 spears here, you put a spear here, you put 4 onagers here. This city can take 8 damage a turn. You can heal 5. So it'll take a while, but like you're also going to rack up discontent on that city. I'm just shocked Babylon hasn't done that. Persia also still does not have onagers. It's very, very dangerous to not get onagers when your opponent has onagers. Yeah, I would probably get the... Probably would get the Eloquent dude. Well, Eloquent Builder feels like it'd be a better governor. So, Inspiring Builder, probably, because we want to get artisans because they're unhappy from not having a counselor. Yeah. Okay. We are building a hamlet here, presumably slowly pushing borders. And we're building shrine, and finally a shrine. Did we swap back? Oh no, we just had never built the Shrine of Ishtar. So we're getting some more farms here. Still haven't improved this honey. Finishing that silver, which will, I guess, expand borders here. Getting some spearmen rushed out, presumably with orders here, if I had to guess. No, actually civics. Interesting. I'm not sure why we're rushing spearmen right now. I'm very confused, actually, considering we have pikemen 6 years away. So unless we're planning to mass upgrade, which we do not have the eco for right now, we need a lot more wood. Right? Because a spearman, a pikeman... Let me find a spearman. Okay, let me find pikeman. Pikeman takes 50 wood, so right now we can only upgrade 2 pikemen. So by the time this finishes, maybe 5 more if we don't spend wood on anything. But yeah. Not sure this marginal monastery makes a difference unless we're just trying to push borders. Love to see a road here. This city has never been connected. Also probably doesn't matter at this point. But I guess it is a little bit of maintenance reduction, right? So, yep, not connected. Would have improved a little bit here. So yeah, definitely an interesting situation. Feel like Babylon is still insanely ahead on science. And assuming they properly time this attack with the pikemen, it's going to be really hard for Persia to deal with it. But yeah, not sure what Babylon's doing. If they're going to go in before they get that. Persia does have a scout keeping an eye on what's going on over here, and they did just research sovereignty, so they can now finally enact constitution for 16 extra science, which will help close the gap. They still have significant issues with the statesmen, though, that they need to fix. Tech-wise here, realistically out of these, probably spoked wheel. Do we have a good chancellor option? Ideally, I need a statesman chancellor. So let's see. Probably this person would be okay. The zealot would also be okay. It would fix our Persian paganism. He would lose the -20 from by being assigned a council position. I think it's +40 for being a counselor, right? Yep, +40 for being a counselor. So yeah, this guy, I mean, growth, you do not need growth. You have enough citizens, or you have enough citizens. Yeah, so I would actually assign the patriarch as chancellor. And indeed, we are going for spoked wheel. So that will give me +40 from this religion flipping. Then plus, it'll be 60, I think, because we'll have another counselor position. That'll be a 100-point swing. And then we can start sending family gifts, which will help quite a bit. And really should be influencing this dude a while ago to convert these guys. Conversion-wise, we can convert the oligarch. So right now it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 point. So 6.5. So this will be right now we're at 1 for Judaism. So 6.5 we need. So that'll be 2 puts us at 3, and 4.5. That puts us at 4. So yeah, 2 conversions will do it. So if I convert this guy and this guy, then we'll have 1 point plus 2 points plus 1 point. So that's 4. And then paganism will have 3.5. And 4 is more than 3.5. So yeah, so your 2 conversions from flipping the so yeah, you actually can since you have metaphysics, you could actually influence her and then start a conversion while she's converging. So you can actually fix this opinion in 4 turns. Instead, we're rallying troops again. Yeah, you need to fix this. You cannot have -273 opinion. That is just not good. Converting them would flip pretty significantly. Wouldn't fix everything, but would fix a lot. And obviously, since he's yeah, you'd get a same religion bonus, right? So that -10 would turn into a +30. So yeah, so that's a 40-point swing right there. Yeah. So other fun things you can do. We already have governors here, but in theory, if there were any diplomats available, we could assign a diplomat. That's an early, easy +40 opinion as well from a diplomat. So any diplomat governor doesn't have to be the family. That's one of the nice things about diplomats. So this hunter diplomat could be put here and replace that. So, and then let's see if there's another diplomat anywhere. I guess we're just assigning lots of generals. That's where, and we have this general, and we have this. Oh, we already have a diplomat. Or no. Oh, we have the statesman diplomat assigned somewhere else. Yeah, we don't need that statesman diplomat somewhere else. We can put them in a statesman city. Again, this is just how to quickly patch family opinion, although it's holding a rider opinion over 40, over friendly. So yeah, but the chancellor will also help. So okay, we're upgrading here. I thought I heard some general assigned sounds. I don't see the generals being assigned anywhere. I guess they were just upgrades. I swear I heard a general assigned sound. And we're floating a lot of orders that we could be using orthodoxy for, but we do not have orthodoxy or tolerance. So, all right. I presume both players know about the extend time feature. So, all right, turn 115. Yeah, Persia is now 9 points away from the end of the game. I didn't see the Ishtar events go through. So where will Persia get their 9 points? Let me just quickly flip that over here and take a look here. 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 3 points from cities. Everything else is pretty far away. So that leaves us with 6 more points. We can build the Christian wonder. The Christian religious wonder will be 2 points. So that leaves us with 4 more points to get. So yeah, we build the Mahavihara and the museum, and then we win. That's it. So if you have a builder leader, you can dramatically increase that and basically win within 10 turns, assuming you trash your economy to build a bunch of wonders. You can close out the game. I don't think the Persian player realizes that. But I don't think Babylon can take a city in 10 years. Maybe this city. No, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't feel like anyone is trying to win the game in 10 years here. Here's where the generals were. Yeah, Persia's got a lot of counterfact archers. Those pikemen are going to be very needed. Persia's actually taking the lead in mill score here. Babylon, yeah, I think we already talked about the need to assign a chancellor here as well. For them, also some family opinion conversion here. We are converting to state religion. I understand doing this. It is almost always a better idea to influence your religious head so that you can have them help you convert, and then you can double convert. That's just better tempo. Who are we converting anyway? We're converting the head of, no, we're converting some random hunter who's not the head of the family. Yeah, you should always convert the family head first if you're converting. We're converting her. Yeah, her. So always convert the family head first. So there's a great page on the reference site that talks about conversion mechanics that explains exactly how it works. It's well worth a read. It's a little bit to wrap your head around. The rule of thumb that I quickly do is like 2 points for the leader, 1 point for the head. That's not entirely correct. I mean, that is correct, but there's other modifiers there. And then the modifiers being for generals or council positions, but usually that's a quick estimate. Families can convert every 4 years on a cycle. And it's a half point for the current religion. So probably should do a video on family conversion mechanics. It's also something to keep an eye on because you can know when a family is at risk of converting. And then I think if you write down the turn that they convert on, they will next, it's going to be mod 4, that same turn. So lots of things to track, obviously, during a network game. But it is deterministic. And obviously, like one way to maintain that is, say this family here, we can see that's 2 points. So we have this, so half point for Zoro, 1, 2, 3, 4 points for Zoro, 4.5. Paganism is at 1, just 1. Judaism is at 3, so 4.5 verse 3. So if she dies, you lose 2. And then this becomes the heir. That's an effective gain of 1. This family could flip to enemy's religion if you're not careful. So you definitely want to make sure that you convert anyone who is at risk of flipping. So you kind of want to, and once family is once a character picks a religion, they will not change unless you convert them. So once you've made yourself secure, like Nebuchadnezzar, really should convert. Family heads, if you're above 30, there's a bigger chance of inheriting, so you want to go from 30 up, ideally. Then it's worth converting some of the folks that they're traveling afar, so it's worth converting folks without a religion as well, if you have the cycles. Moria is particularly good for this because they get 50% less cost on conversions. So just another way Moria is so strong. All right, so Babylon is, they've taken Lake Benacus. They now have a very defensible position here. Would love to see some tile buying here. Presume we're going to see civics boost here. Awkward that civics boost is coming up against machinery. It's also going to be a really awkward draw next turn. Architecture, cartography, and jurisprudence. And then one of these 7 that we don't pick. And presumably we're taking civics boost. So yeah, one of these 6. Hopefully it will be machinery being pulled up again. Portcullis won't be terrible either. Oh, we're just going without civics boost. That seems wild to me. Just seems really wild. I think I would love seeing civics boost. But maybe we just feel like we need onagers now because we see our opponent is pushing. I mean, Ideally, we wouldn't be in this situation where we're choosing between civics boost and machinery on turn 116, because we would have gotten both of them much earlier. But yeah, I mean, I guess we have all our laws, so machinery is the correct call here. Civics boost. Yeah, I just naturally just see 800 civics. I'm like, yes, but I don't know. I don't know. I really like civics. And yeah, this actually is really awkward for Persia because they've chopped down all this wood, which means auditors are just going to have a field day here. And it's just going to be really hard for Persia to dislodge Babylon from this position. At the same time, though, they can just build roads and go around, and like it's going to be really hard for Babylon to push in. I don't know. It's definitely the problem for Babylon is they are on the clock, right? Persia. Let's see. They're continuing to chop, getting a lot of wood, which is a little strange to me. Did we ever get forestry? We did get forestry. So have we just not started any lumber mills? I guess we haven't started any lumber mills. So we don't need lumber mills, which again is fine. Persia, the only drain right now is the ranges, the monasteries, and the archers. So it's actually not too bad, and they've done a great job chopping, and they have the orders to spare. So I don't know that you would need lumber mills at this point, right? The game is over in 10 turns. The biggest thing I think for Persia is sell some of this food and like start some more wonders, which is where civics boost would have been really handy. Academy, I don't know that I would be bothering with Academy at this point, right? Like, I think one question you want to ask yourself is, what is your win condition? How are you going to win the game? Okay. Yeah. So one thing you want to figure out is, what is your win condition? So if I'm Babylon, my win condition is pushing in and winning by, yeah. So I'm not going to go in until I have pikemen, right? So what do I need for pikemen? I have enough iron, right? A pikeman, spearman to pikeman upgrade is 100 iron and 50 wood and 100 training. So I don't have enough wood. My money economy is also not great, and I really, really need to start pre-selling stuff so that I doesn't sell a random resource, right? I should probably be selling stone, not steel, not iron, because I want the iron to upgrade pikemen. So late game, everything sort of transitions to nothing else matters at this point. So like we probably should be pulling some of these guys forward. You can upgrade at any borders. I think we go once we have all our pikes upgraded, all our spears upgraded to pikes, but right now we do not have enough wood. So how many pikes do we have? Let's take a look here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 spears. Hopefully we're not building any more spears at this point because there's no point. Okay, so 9 spears. So we need 900 iron. We're going to have that. And we need 450 wood. We do not have that. And we need 900 training, which we have. Just make sure we don't burn that. So then we need to, in the 4 turns, we'll get 40 more wood. We spent wood on something. Not sure what we spent wood on. We should probably stop spending wood. We start our granary here. Probably not a good time for a granary here, given that that's 40 wood and also will cost us 1 wood upkeep a turn. So yeah, we just need to be very brutal. We got this disciple here, can chop chop, go into here, chop chop. So this is, we're just going to double chop. That's 40, 40. So 120, and then each of these is 140, 160, 180. You can probably do some more chopping here. Chop all this, chop that, chop the scrub, chop this scrub. Yeah, probably can stop building farms. We're okay on food. We do not need food to win the game at this point. Also, we did swap to vassalage, right? As long as we're not bleeding money, and as long as we upgrade our pikes, we're going to be fine. So, yeah, just need to focus on what your win condition is, and then, yeah, I do like the slow push. I would love it more if there were roads supporting it. I would also potentially love it more if we swapped to colonies, which we don't have the civics for, but that feels like nice to have. Although imagine if this were in a hunter territory, that would be really, really nice. But if you're Babylon, you're down 10 points right now. You are going to need to push in. And you're going to want to push in on pikes. So I'm not entirely sure why you're putting spears up here, unless you plan to also buy the border tiles here so that you can do that. Where is our scout? We have a scout here, and a scout here. Okay, probably don't need more agent networks. We got good vision. Pull one of these scouts back, maybe here, and then have it ready to be buying tiles here. So you could do some fun tile buys here. But yeah, I don't know that you need the tile buy, but like the problem is this is just, you want to be able to reinforce from here. And yeah, roads. We just don't have the money for tile buying. Yeah, we I don't know. You want to have the upgrade ready to go on the turn you get the tech, so you can upgrade 9 spears into pikes right away. And then ideally they would be within your borders. Last turn for me tonight. All right. Well, we will not get a conclusion here, but part 7 is hopefully going to be a dramatic finale of whether Persia wins through point victory or Babylon manages to yeah, please save. Yeah. All right. Cool. Okay, so yeah. All right, thank you all for tuning in, all 20 or so of you. Really appreciate having company during the cast. Always really fun. And we're in an exciting position here, and we're going to be going off to part 7, which hopefully will be decisive. Presumably Persia has stopped their turn, so yeah. All right, thank you both. And yeah, we will take a quick look at graphs here while we close out the stream. Military score, Babylon won the engagement. Persia has rebuilt faster, stronger, better, but they're pretty neck and neck. Science continues to be the story of the game. Persia has actually taken the science point lead for basically the first time in the game, 195 to 181. However, they're taking this lead very late. Babylon has a 3,000 science lead right now. Which means they are going to get pikemen in 4 years. Persia will get machinery. Doesn't have orthodoxy though. Still running tolerance, so probably not going to get honors up in time. But it's definitely going to be interesting here. Econ-wise, money, Persia's been better all game. We can compare the total money here. Plus 18k versus minus 50k on money. Orders, big advantage for Persia, although that's narrowed as Babylon finally adopted monotheism and has divine rule. Food, Persia slowly had a big lead the entire game, but it's slowly been ticking down. Iron, Babylon made a big investment in iron here and has shot ahead. Persia's actually been struggling with iron all game. Stone, pretty neck and neck. I think aggregate totals are slightly advantage for Babylon. Despite that, Persia has built way more wonders, probably because of money. And wood, huge advantage for Babylon. Persia has not built a single lumber mill. And improvement 686, or that's, sorry, improvements is 143 to 136, so Babylon's drawn equal, and worker turn 686 to 536. Units lost 23 by Babylon, 43 by Persia. Units killed 69. That includes barbarians, 53 by Persia. Workers 12 and 10, pretty light game. Specialists 48 for Babylon, including a lot of urban specialists, and then 35 for Persia, including just a couple urban specialists, all pretty late. All right, thank you all for watching, and we hopefully will close out this game in part 7. Exciting part 6, a little quiet build up. Hopefully the players, when they watch this, will find this valuable. Thanks so much for watching the stream. Have a great night, morning, or afternoon, wherever you might be.